The illusion of peace has finally shattered. While you were sleeping, a convoy roared into the Kremlin, and oil refineries on the Black Sea turned into massive funeral pyres for the Russian budget. But the real nightmare isn't the fire, it's the digital trap that just snapped shut. For the first time, a simple electronic notification has officially stripped a citizen of his property. No court, no trial, just a line of code. From the burning ports of Tuapse to the poisoning of baby food in Europe and the brink of a great war in the Middle East, the world is accelerating toward a point of no return. We've analyzed the facts they'd rather keep quiet. Sit tight, this is the breakdown you weren't supposed to see. Let's talk about the Groundhog Day currently playing out on the Russian coast. While the Kremlin spin doctors are busy drafting fairy tales about intercepted targets, the Tuapse refinery is doing something much more cinematic. It's burning. Again. For the second time in less than a week, Ukrainian drones have turned Russia's only Black Sea export hub into a massive multi-billion-dollar torch. Think about the timing. Just as the emergency crews were finishing their heroic three-day battle to extinguish the fire from the April 16th strike, the next wave arrived. It's not just a strike, it's an insult to the entire Russian air defense system. We're talking about a facility that processes 12 million tons of crude a year. This isn't just fuel for tanks. This is the pure, unadulterated cash flow that keeps the war machine lubricated. Or rather, it was. According to Reuters and global energy analysts, these systematic strikes have already paralyzed nearly 40% of Russia's total oil export capacity this spring. In March alone, Moscow watched $2.3 billion in revenue literally go up in smoke. And now, Tuapse, the crown jewel of Rosneft's export-oriented refining, is offline indefinitely. The hydrocarbon wedding, as some call it, has an open bar, and the bill is being sent directly to the Russian taxpayer. But here is the detail they won't show you on Channel 1. It's not just about the fire, it's about the shadow fleet. Ship tracking data shows dozens of tankers idling in the Black Sea and the Baltic, waiting for cargo that doesn't exist because the terminals are either melting or under a no-fly zone. When the ports stop, the money stops. And when the money stops, the Kremlin starts looking for someone to blame. One man is dead, others are injured, but for the elites in Moscow, the only casualty that matters is the 28% drop in oil loadings recorded last month. The strategy is clear. If the world won't stop buying Russian oil, Ukraine will simply stop it from being shipped. It's a brutal, effective, and increasingly expensive reality for a regime that thought its energy sector was untouchable. Next time you hear about stability, just look at the satellite photos of Tuapse. That's not stability. That's the smell of a collapsing export economy. While the world watches the fires in Tuapse, a much more silent and terrifying explosion just occurred within the Russian legal system. Forget about the old days when you could just ignore a paper summons under your door. The digital trap has officially claimed its first victim, and it's a warning shot for millions. In the Samara region, Rosreestr, the state agency responsible for property rights, has blocked a citizen from registering his real estate. Why? Because of a missed appointment at the military enlistment office. No trial, no judge, no bailiff. Just an automated digital flag that effectively freezes your life. This is the digital summons registry in full, brutal action. For months, officials called it a test. They told you it was about convenience and modernization. Now, the mask is off. Under the laws fully enacted by May 2025 and tightened in early 2026, a summons is considered served 7 days after it appears in the registry, whether you've seen it or not. After 20 days of no-show, the state starts cutting off your limbs. No driving, no loans, and now, as we've officially seen, no right to sell or buy property. But here's the kicker. The machine is working even better than they promised. Rosreestr didn't just wait for the military to call them. They actively reached out to the enlistment office to verify if the restrictions were still active. It's an integrated, inter-agency web designed to make evasion impossible. If you are in that registry, you are effectively a non-person in the eyes of the civil economy. You can't move your assets, you can't flee in your car, and you certainly can't hide behind a lack of internet access. And why now? Because the numbers don't lie. Despite the propaganda, the Kremlin's demand for fresh, Human material for a renewed offensive is skyrocketing. Analysts suggest they need at least 1,000 new recruits every single day just to maintain the current front lines. To get those numbers, they don't need to knock on your door anymore. They just need to press a button and watch your life's work, your home, your car, your bank account, vanish behind a digital wall. It's not just a draft, it's a hostage situation where your property is the ransom. Welcome to the era of the automated mobilization, where the algorithm is the executioner. Block 3. The powder keg, English text. If you thought the situation in Eastern Europe was tense, look at the Strait of Hormuz, where the world's economy is currently being held at gunpoint. The 2-week ceasefire hasn't just expired, it has been blown to pieces by the roar of the USS Spruance's cannons. On April 19th, Donald Trump confirmed the direct seizure of the Iranian-flagged vessel Touska. According to Central Command, the ship ignored multiple warnings to halt, leading the US Navy to fire directly into its engine room. This isn't just a maritime incident, it's the formal beginning of a total naval blockade that is costing Tehran an estimated $400 million in lost revenue every single day. The diplomatic theater in Pakistan has officially closed its doors. While Vice President J.D. Vance was ready to talk, Tehran's refusal to dismantle its nuclear facilities and halt uranium enrichment led to a total collapse of the negotiations. Trump's reaction? Typical, brutal, and broadcasted on Truth Social for the whole world to see. She has set a definitive deadline. Tuesday is now officially Power Plant and Bridge Day. The threat is explicit. Unless the strait is reopened to global traffic without Iranian tolls, the US Air Force has coordinates for every major piece of civilian infrastructure in Iran. We're talking about a complete demolition of the power grid and logistics within a 4-hour window. The stakes couldn't be higher. Iran has already retaliated by closing the strait entirely, effectively choking off 20% of the world's oil and gas supply. Brent crude is already flirting with the $100 mark, and energy analysts warn that if the Bridge Day strikes actually happen, we could see a global price shock that makes 1973 look like a minor market correction. Moscow is watching this chaos with a predatory grin, hoping a Middle Eastern explosion will distract the West from the burning refineries in Tuapse. But for the rest of us, the question isn't if the war will escalate, but whether the global economy can survive the collision of these two unstoppable forces. The fuse is lit, the cannons are hot, and the clock is ticking down to a Tuesday that might change the map of the Middle East forever. If you want to know how nervous a regime truly is, don't watch the official press briefings. Watch the traffic on the streets of Moscow at 2 a.m. On the night of April 20th, the Russian capital was treated to a familiar but chilling sight. Vladimir Putin's motorcade screaming toward the Kremlin at high speed. No announcement, no explanation, just the black sedans of the Federal Protective Service cutting through the silence. While the Kremlin press pool habitually dismisses these late-night arrivals as routine work, history suggests otherwise. Whether it's the fallout from the collapsing Easter truce or a frantic response to the smoke rising over Tuapse, these midnight sessions indicate a leadership that is reacting to events, not controlling them. But while Putin stalks the halls of the Kremlin, his friends in Europe are finding out exactly where the boundaries of solidarity lie. Robert Fico, the Slovak Prime Minister who has spent the last year acting as Moscow's primary cheerleader in the EU, just received a humiliating reality check. Attempting to fly to Moscow for the May 9th Victory Day parade, Fico found the skies over Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania slammed shut. The Baltic states were blunt. They will not allow their sovereign airspace to be used by an EU leader traveling to glorify an aggressor. It's a move that leaves Fico's plane and his pro-Russian foreign policy circling in a diplomatic vacuum. And as the political war rages, a much darker criminal shadow has fallen over European supermarket shelves. In Austria, the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the organic baby food giant HIP has been forced to recall thousands of jars of carrot and potato puree. Why? Because somebody, either a domestic terrorist or a foreign saboteur, is lacing them with rat poison. Jars marked with a distinctive white sticker and red circle have been found on shelves in Brno and Vienna. The authorities are calling it a criminal act of external interference. When the front line moves from the battlefield to the nursery, it's no longer about politics. It's about a total breakdown of safety in the heart of Europe. Finally, for those who think the chaos is localized, look at the horror in Shreveport, Louisiana. A domestic dispute spiraled into one of the deadliest mass shootings in US history, leaving 8 children dead, the youngest only 3 years old. From the midnight convoys of the Kremlin to the poisoned aisles of European stores and the blood-stained streets of the American South, the world of April 2026 feels like a machine that has lost its brakes. Stay sharp, because the news isn't just happening, it's accelerating.